Hincapie is back and ready to start his career at Arsenal. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night, wherever you're tuned in. It's the People's Pundit. Welcome back, DG, all of those kind of things. Now, we can see Calafiori doing his thing. We know what Miles Lewis Skelly possesses. With Hincapie returning to training, obviously, he's only played 6 minutes for Arsenal Football Club. As a Sunday League fullback, I'm also excited to see another fullback and what he brings to the table. And if him and Kai Havertz maybe in their own little way can unlock Gyökeres. You don't know how I feel on this unlocking thing, but nonetheless, smash the like button and allow me to humor you guys. Now, people, when we look at it, people, it's simple, really and truly. I think you have to ask yourself the first question. The first thing I would say is where Hincapie is concerned. The man himself says, I actually prefer to play centre half. He's obviously played a lot of football at centre half, 23 years of age. There's a lot of transferable experience. Now, if I assume Gabriel Magalhaes, unless he's going to be rested, is going to solidify that left-sided centre-back role even more, then it probably means the inroad is for Hincapie. Now, we probably don't sign him if obviously Kivior doesn't leave. I'm happy with it because it's an upgrade. Calafiori's not put a foot wrong. Miles Lewis Skelly's looking crazy whenever he gets an opportunity. But whatever Hincapie can bring to the table, I'm keen to see it. Will Mikel Arteta, make him in his own way replicate what we see with the two other left backs in terms of inverting, or will he make him more of an overlapping kind of left back? And to be brutally honest with you, a lot of his highlights, while he's bombing on, he's just laying it on a plate. Obviously, for strikers, in which it would be lovely if Gyokeres could be on the receiving end, people. So yeah, man, a lot of us, we talk about and scream depth, 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 but this is a signing that, in my opinion, is about control. I think, when you look at it tactically, his mentality and system-wise, it's a match made in heaven. When you look at the trends of, probably from Zinchenko onwards with all the fullbacks we've signed, every single defender signed under Mikel Arteta, matter of fact, they're not just defenders. In their own way, they solve problems. You could have the Zinchenko, which gives you an extra attacking kind of option from left back. Obviously, the Miles Lewis Skellies, the Calafioris, the Hincapies, Tomiyasu, they can all invert and do it quite well, while obviously giving you a lot defensively. And if we were to sit there and break down individually what these players are like, people, they all solve their own kind of problems in their own way. Hincapie doesn't scream superstar, obviously, but if you know ball, you know that this is a player we've looked at for a while, and it's just got Mikel Arteta's Arsenal written all over him, people. I mean, I can't imagine you don't know about the 23-year-old Ecuadorian centre half who was previously at Leverkusen under Xabi Alonso and for a brief period Ten Hag, people. Composed, strong in duels, proper modern defender in that regards, and he's obviously composed. Defensively, I think he's a dog in a good way, man. He's got the techers. He's a typical South American player in that he wants to defend. That's going to come at a cost, despite the fact that he's been on the scene for a while and he's 23 years of age. Probably going to pick up a lot of bookings, probably can be a bit overzealous and a bit like Calafiori, can go wandering a bit, needs to probably be a bit more switched on, but the ceiling's high at 23 years of age. Aggression, bite, that can be harnessed and controlled, calmness in possession, plays with that level of confidence to try and make things happen for his team. I've got a lot of time for him, people. And again, tactically and technically, collectively and individually, there's a lot of potential things Arteta could do. You lot already know under Xabi Alonso, he was part of a back three system that would be fluid and turn into a four. He stepped into midfield. He can press high. He's comfortable on the ball, fairly press resistant, and he just tried to find the right pass. Equally comfortable at left back or as a wing back or as part of the back three, as said. Of course, at times his output is often dictated by his tactical role, making it difficult, if I'm completely honest with you, to compare his statistical profile, if I'm honest, over the years, really, and then get where he's played when he's played, if that makes sense, and compare them to Arsenal's players at the moment, people. You keep hearing me say the same thing. When I think of him, I just think aggression, like pace, aggression, powerful overlapping runs, getting into wide areas, attempting to make line breaking passes and feed it to the more creative players, and delivering crosses. Naturally, him individually could allow us greater tactical and technical flexibility. He can draw defenders out of position. He can create spaces for teammates to operate in the half space. That's the Eze's of this world, etc. And on the topic of Eze, that could allow him to actually move more centrally and keep that developing relationship with Gyokeres developing, people. In games that Leverkusen were able to overly dominate under Jabi Alonso. Hincapie was obviously heavily involved in trying to find a way through the opposition with passes and carrying the ball forward. I've got it in front of me. He completed over 100 passes in 3 separate Bundesliga games last season, and only 10 players produced more line-breaking passes. So again, he's a defender that wants to contribute in the middle and in his own way in the final third. Even from a deeper role, he still looks to make inroads and step forward with the ball. Almost a quarter of his carries last season were classified as progressive. That's the third highest rate of any Bundesliga defender, people. Shows he's not afraid to take risks in possession if the space presents itself. He obviously brings off the ball running if he is deployed, apologies, as a bit more of a traditional kind of left back, left wing back. Obviously, when you marry that in tandem with the quality we've already got in the midfield and the attacking ranks and defensively, for me, it's a match made in heaven. We've obviously got to remember the system starts from the back. Why do you think, on top of Raya being a bloody good goalkeeper with his hands, obviously he's good with his feet? Our first defender is actually our striker. Our first attacker is David Raya, people. So yeah, man, the system starts from the back. You can't attack fast and break fast if your defenders hesitate and they don't have that quality, people. Obviously, him being left-footed naturally opens the pitch up, better angles, wider angles, more opportunities to switch play, and ultimately more variety, people. He's still developing, if we keep it real. Sometimes he switches off positionally, sometimes he dives in. One thing, he's very aggressive, like playing as a left back. He wants to get, like if the right winger gets the ball, he wants to get out there and be aggressive and try and either intercept or get that tackle. So he will get skimmed, people. But I think the pros outweigh the cons, people. You see that explosive list that I'm talking about that has pros and cons. That's what we've been missing at times, people. You've seen it with Calafiori, you see Calafiori marauding and making those runs. And obviously, Hincapie can bring that to the table. And then obviously you throw in the fact of Gyokeres, who's a cerebral assassin in the opponent's box and pulls out to the channels. You look at players like Madueke and Saka in our side, you isolate them versus fullbacks 1v1, the fullbacks are in trouble. And then you've got Eze doing the individuality thing. It's a match made in heaven. And I think to a degree, we could go up the levels, quite frankly, if I'm completely honest with you, man. So yeah, man, I think I'm excited to see Hincapie. Last season training, only been exposed to 6 minutes. And then obviously, naturally, with his overlapping runs, that could mean more tap-ins, more space, more build-up play where Gyokeres can be on the receiving end rather than participating in terms of general play. And obviously, Kai Havertz is getting back fit. Now, Kai Havertz and Mikel Merino, owing to Gyokeres' own struggles, we probably could make a case of maybe one of them going up front in place of Gyokeres if you were of that kind of thinking. But then you look at the 10 role, the right centre mid, the 8.5 role, whatever you want to refer to it as, people, the Odegaard role. Obviously, in terms of traditionally what we want to see in that role, Eze, Wanyeri, that's you lot. They've got the swagger, they've got the technical ability. Now, you look at Mikel Merino and Kai Havertz, obviously, you throw all the names I said in Eze, Wanyeri, Merino, and Kai Havertz of football. Nobody really is going to be blown away by Merino and Kai Havertz in a respectful way. But what they don't have necessarily, if it makes sense in that traditional role, tactically, they probably understand Mikel Arteta's collective system a lot more than a lot more of their teammates. And if it's just on, I need you to stand here, I need you to press, I need you to drop into midfield and all of that kind of stuff, Kai Havertz and Merino could do that. And I actually think there's scope for Kai Havertz and Gyokeres to coexist naturally in the squad. Either one's up front, substitutions in game. I don't think we'll play 2 strikers, but that obviously Gyokeres is it's long gone, people. Strikers just occupying centre halves. He's still gonna have to drop deep, but potentially playing Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz, he's a very good team player. He's good in the facilitative kind of stuff, if that's even a word. Gyokeres could be on the end of things. It's as simple as that. So when you've got Hincapie, Calafiori, Miles Lewis-Skelly doing what they're doing, obviously Timber showing a lot more in the final third, Zubamendinho and Declan Rice doing what they're doing. You get where I'm going with this, people. Gyokeres could be on the receiving end with the fullbacks, people. And again, you look at Gyokeres' numbers, a lot of it, if any, his shots come in the box. Get the man in the box, let him score goals. And that's where try and make the other players facilitate that, if it makes sense to you lot, people. So in their own way, yeah, like, do you lot feel Kai Havertz and Hincapie can unlock Gyokeres? I do and I don't. Naturally, from a tactical point of view, it's like tools in a toolbox. Everybody could be in sync. Some players can get better out of others. Some players have skills that complement players more than others. So naturally, I get that. I am of the belief, though, that in life and like football, only you can unlock yourself, but I don't know, people.